Hey, everybody, this is the DLS Stars crew. We've got Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, Sean Shapiro. I'm Owen Newkirk, and we're glad to have you here. And this conversation is about Tyler Seguin. Now, recently the news that he had ACL surgery and that the Stars announced that he will be reevaluated at or after the Olympic break in February. And that got us to thinking, because we were talking about it on the show, is that a good idea? Should somebody, maybe the Dallas Stars, maybe Jim Nill, save Tyler Seguin from himself? What do I mean by that? Well, because of the new rules, it's not just let's see what the athlete does, and if he comes back, great, we'll use full LTIR cap overage, and if he pops in, wonderful. The Stars have to decide and declare if he's done for the season, meaning regular season and playoffs, they get full LTIR usage. If he has any chance of playing, they get the average of the AAV of the whole league, which is not nearly as much as Seguin's contract. So I pose to you guys, as I'm thinking about this, Tyler Seguin is a grinder. He works so hard, and it's an admirable thing. He will try to come back early if he can. Is this a good idea for the long-term remainder of his NHL career?
I'm going to be all over the map on this one. I think Tyler Seguin over his career has earned the right to see where he can get to play in the playoffs, regardless of when it is. His leadership, seniority, how he plays when he comes back from these injuries. So there's one side of it. The other side of it is, for me, you're playing to win a Stanley Cup. And, sometimes you have to make some tough decisions. We don't have to make them. Jim Nill will have to make that. If there is a point here where you can add somebody significant that bolsters your team to get past the first or second round, whatever it may be, the way it's shaping up now, the competitor in me is saying you have to do that. But the sentimental side of me is saying Tyler deserves the opportunity to play. So I think that will be a candid conversation between general manager and player as we get, down the road here a little bit. And I think a lot of it depends on how Tyler comes out of when rehab starts, where he's coming along. So long story short, I don't know. I'm glad I'm not in that.
The key to me is the timeline. I think, Sean, you talked about it when you spoke to Jim Nill, that we're not talking about Tyler Seguin like last year where he's going to be ready. He was ready, 2 games left or 1 game left in the regular season?
Literally at the end of the regular season.
He's not going to be ready right then. We're talking Western Conference Final, best case probably, right, Sean? So if that's the case, to me, that changes the answer, right? Because I'm with you. If Tyler Seguin can come back first round, maybe even second, it's like Miro Heiskanen. It's one of your better players. It's a leader. Let him come back. It's going to be maybe the Western Conference Final. That, to me, shifts it over to that's 9.85 is his cap hit. That's a lot of money to use to really upgrade your team and give him a chance not only to win the Stanley Cup, but to get through those first 2 rounds that are going to be so hard against these Central Division teams without Tyler Seguin. I just think it doesn't make sense. And then for Tyler's health, because he told me right away, I'm going to try to get back. My timeline is different than anyone else's, and that's what
I
makes
admire
him so great.
That part of his brain. And I honestly would be in the same boat. I would want to play. I would want to do everything I
don't think Jim is going to I don't think Tyler is going to put Jim in that situation.
You don't think so?
I think when this is all done for Tyler, the surgery and the timeline, I think that if it is that, talking about the finals or even the 3rd round, I think Tyler goes to him and says, listen, you got to make the team better. I'm going to get a ring. I'm part of this team. But I just think that the person who cares enough about that whole group will step aside for the better of the group.
Sean, I completely agree with what these guys are saying, but and I think Tyler deserves the right to try because of what he's done before. But does somebody need to stop him to save him from himself, from the human element of you could end up doing what happened in 2016, which is race back from that severed Achilles and then suffer a calf injury and set yourself back even longer. And he's not in his 20s anymore like he was back then.
Yeah. For me, here's a reality. May 16th would be 5 months after surgery. June 16th would be 6 months after surgery. And when it comes to ACL surgeries, Everyone likes to cherry pick the best example. It was 2012. Adrian Peterson tears his ACL. 6 months later, comes back, rushes for more than 2,000 yards, wins the NFL MVP award. And once Adrian Peterson did that for ACL injuries in sports in general, other athletes started rushing to the 6-month window and everything like that. There's also now been the things that don't get published enough is the fact that there's been multiple examples of grafts not taking, recoveries not really being up to full stability within those 6 months, that athletes are either immediately hurting themselves again, or they're putting themselves in a spot where they're setting up another injury down the line. And so, like, if this was the past rules, right? If this was the old rules, I wouldn't put any pressure on Tyler because he could come back, right? Because if it was the old rules where you didn't have to declare out for the entire postseason, if I could get Tyler back on June 16th for a game or two of the Stanley Cup final, yeah, you know what?
Yep.
Yes, Tyler, push for that. We're going to keep playing as long as we can so you can get that game or two in the Cup final. The problem for me is this timeline is I don't see how everyone in that room, as Lud said, Tyler understands one of the best and worst things that ever happened to Tyler was he won a Stanley Cup in his rookie season. I think it was one of those things where he's even told me in his life, he's mature, he didn't realize how tough it was, right? He wins it as a teenager. You don't realize how tough it is. And he knows how difficult it is to win and how long he's been chasing to get that second one in his career. And he knows, as Lud said, if I gave you the Central versus the Field to win the Stanley Cup this year, you'd probably take the Central, right? So, it doesn't you can be like, oh well, we can. The first round, the second round might be your two toughest opponents, and these 16 wins you're seeking. And if you're going to hamstring your team for the opportunity to maybe play 2 games in June, I don't think it's fair to everyone in that room, and I don't think putting the expectation on Tyler, because if you don't make a move, and here's my big point, if you don't make a move because, hey, Tyler's a chance to come back, and it's May 21st, 23rd, and you guys are still playing, and he's not ready, but you didn't make a move because he was going to be ready, there is no opportunity for him not to play. His body doesn't get the opportunity to make the choice. And I think that's an unfair position for everyone.
And can they even get through those? Sean said it, that without Tyler Seguin and not adding a significant
let me
piece,
ask you one final question here, Sam, because we don't have much time left and it is a mini pod. Is there any part of you that says, for the sake of his long-term health, not just next season, but beyond that, is it worth letting him give that risk? I know he's earned it, and I know he'll try, but should somebody step in and go, for all the reasons you guys just said, don't?
Yeah, I think because the argument should be, and if Sagan's arguing, which we know Tyler Seguin will be, they should say, look at what's happened to you so many times in the last few years. Rush back is the wrong word, but you pushed yourself back last year, and you got back, you felt good, but you got hurt again. I'm not saying they're related, but your body breaks down. Take a full spring, summer, get yourself into training camp, and let yourself have a hopefully full 82 games, because he could be one of the better players in the league when he is right now, and he just can't stay healthy. That should be your
Lud's
argument.
final word.
Listen, Tyler's 35. What is Tyler? 34,
33.
33.
Only 33.
But his
only
body
33.
is 36 or 37.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to say that if that's me and I have one last chance to win a Stanley Cup and it's my groin, I don't care if I tear my groin off the bone. I want another cup.
He doesn't either. He's already done it.
That's what I mean. If it gets put to Tyler, because the way you're phrasing this is save yourself from yourself. I'm not worried about myself. I just want to win.
Which is why the question is, should Jim Nill, somebody in the Stars orbit, say, hey, we know what he's going to try to do.
If the player is 25, 24, 25, 26, save him from himself. If he's at this stage of his career, I'm going out and getting them. I'm going out and adding something to my lineup.
And the last thing you know is that he is going to try everything he can until they tell him you can't, to try to get back. Thank you very much for watching. Check us out here on alldls.com.